world shaped by the Dalki War, supernatural abilities determine your fate. For 30 years since humanity's near extinction at the hands of the dragon-like invaders, society has been divided between the powerful and the powerless. Quinn Talen knew his place at the bottom. No abilities, no family, just a mysterious book left behind by parents who died fighting the Dalki. On his final day of school, after enduring years of torment about his level 1 status, Quinn faced one last humiliation. His attempt to speak to his crush Jennifer ended in mockery, but for the first time he fought back, a small act of defiance that would mark the beginning of greater changes to come. That night, everything shifted. The book, resistant to 112 different attempts to unlock its secrets, finally responded to a drop of Quinn's blood. Ancient text spiraled through floating pages in a language he somehow understood before the tome dissolved into nothingness. In its place appeared a gaming-like system interface, displaying stats, levels, and mysterious locked abilities. But this newfound power came with a price. Direct sunlight would have all his stats. Before Quinn could grasp the meaning of his inheritance, the military arrived. Using sleeping gas, they transported him and his fellow students to a hidden city of technological marvels. During the military's power assessment, Quinn made an unprecedented choice that would draw dangerous attention. He refused their standard-issue ability book, something no student had ever dared before. His fellow classmates proved equally intriguing. Vorden, descendant of the original heroes, possessed the power to copy abilities through touch, yet mysteriously couldn't copy Quinn's power. The ice-wielding Erin demonstrated devastating control, her emotionless exterior matching her frozen abilities. Layla, wielding a bow crafted from otherworldly beast bones, showed that even level 2S could be formidable. And Peter, another powerless student, struggled under the weight of a system that valued only strength. The assessment branded Quinn level 1, marking him as powerless. But this very designation caught the eye of Jack Truedream, one of the legendary originals who first manifested abilities during the Dalki War. In shadow-filled chambers, Jack revealed to General Duke King a chilling truth. There are abilities far darker than the public knows, powers still being discovered in ancient texts lost to time. Despite Quinn's apparent weakness, Jack sees something in him, a hidden power that could either save humanity or destroy it. Now Jack has ordered Duke to break Quinn, to force whatever power he's hiding to surface. Senior students loyal to Duke are being positioned like pieces on a chessboard, ready to test Quinn's limits. As Quinn begins his new life, unaware of the forces gathering against him, his only advantage may be that his true abilities remain a mystery, even to himself. Quinn's normal school day takes a dark turn when he encounters a disturbing scene. Riley, a level 2 bully, and his gang cornering Peter, a defenseless first-year student. As Riley forces credit transfers from Peter's wristwatch, Quinn makes a bold but reckless decision to intervene. Though the confrontation ends with Quinn being brutally beaten, it activates his first real quest from the system: defeat Riley and earn enough experience to level up. Driven by determination, Quinn heads to the training room to test his strength. But something strange begins to affect him, an unnatural, gnawing hunger that won't go away. His friend Vorden notices Quinn's deteriorating condition, jokingly suggesting vampire symptoms. Meanwhile, in the library, a mysterious goth student named Layla approaches Quinn, hinting that she sees through his facade of being powerless. Watching Riley continue to terrorize students and steal their credits in the cafeteria, Quinn formulates a plan. Under the cover of night, he dons a mask and confronts Riley for a rematch. This time, Quinn fights smarter. He studies Riley's hardening ability and exploits its weakness, landing a decisive blow to his unprotected face. Victory brings Quinn the experience points he needs to level up, but the evolution comes with a horrifying price. As the system transforms Quinn into what it calls a halfling, his body convulses in agony. His teeth sharpen into fangs, and a terrible thirst for blood awakens within him. The system's warning is clear: consume human blood or suffer declining health every hour. Desperate to resist his new vampiric nature, Quinn tries everything, from devouring regular food in the cafeteria to frantically searching the library for answers. But his resistance comes at a devastating cost. As Quinn's health rapidly depletes, his control begins to slip. When Layla finds him in the library and tries to help, despite Quinn's desperate warnings to stay away, his newfound predatory instincts take over. In a moment of uncontrollable bloodlust, Quinn attacks her. Quinn kneeling beside Layla's motionless body, blood dripping from his lips, horrified by what he's become. In the aftermath of his first taste of blood, Quinn races through the academy halls with Layla's unconscious body, desperate to save her life. He manages to get her to the infirmary, but is forced to hide when the healer arrives. Overhearing a disturbing revelation, Layla isn't the first student to be attacked. Tormented by his actions and fighting an ever-growing hunger, Quinn flees into the rainy streets. His new vampiric system begins revealing the blood types of everyone around him, driving him to seek refuge in a meat shop. There, he discovers a temporary solution. Animal blood can briefly pause his declining health, but it's not enough to sustain him. Racing back to the academy before curfew, Quinn makes two shocking discoveries. Not only is Layla alive and well, having used makeup to cover his attack, but he now possesses superhuman speed. Before they can process this development, Peter arrives with urgent news. Their friend Vorden has been dragged into the forbidden forest. Quinn ventures into the dangerous woods, finding Vorden trapped in a pit, the victim of a cruel senior prank. Using his newfound strength, Quinn manages to rescue his friend, but not before catching a glimpse of something terrifying in the forest. A tall figure with glowing red eyes. The next morning, rumors spread about a beast in the forbidden forest, with promises of a level up for anyone who can hunt it down. Quinn soon discovers this is Layla's scheme to trap the bullying seniors. When Quinn attempts to replenish his strength with more of Layla's blood, the system reveals a cruel twist. Blood from the same person won't work twice. Their plans take an unexpected turn when they witness Riley and his gang dragging another student into the forest as beast bait. Quinn confronts them, masked once again, discovering new abilities including rapid healing and blood manipulation. But just as victory seems within reach, the forest reveals its true terror. The beast of legend appears to be all too real. Quinn and Layla flee back to campus, but Quinn's vampiric hunger continues to plague him. His attempt to return to his dorm leads to an alarming discovery. Military officers discussing recent attacks and increased security measures, especially for vulnerable Level 1 students. Desperate to escape detection and wrestling with his growing hunger, Quinn finds himself at a bridge where he witnesses a man preparing to murder his wife. Though Quinn intervenes to save the woman, the confrontation ends with him feeding on the would-be murderer, adding to his mounting guilt over his loss of control. Back at the academy, Quinn's friends are acting suspicious, making secret deals and exchanging knowing looks. Before he can investigate, an arrow arrives with an urgent message from Layla. Their meeting reveals her growing concern about Quinn's methods of handling his bloodthirst, though he deflects her questions with lies about stored blood behind the library. The situation at the academy grows more complex when Quinn witnesses Steve and his gang terrorizing Carlos, forcing him to take blame for their graffiti. Despite Quinn's initial reluctance to get involved, he can't help but step in when he sees Carlos injured. But his intervention comes too late. Carlos faces expulsion for a crime he didn't commit. Taking matters into his own hands, Quinn dons his mask once again and confronts Steve in his room. Using his growing powers and newfound control over his feeding, Quinn delivers a brutal lesson to the bully. But his victory is short-lived. Returning to his room, he finds Vorden and Peter waiting with accusatory glares, claiming they know everything about their traitor roommate. Now Quinn must face his greatest fear, the possibility that his closest friends have discovered his dark secret, but their suspicions are focused on his relationship with Layla, rather than his true nature. While Quinn breathes a sigh of relief, Vorden's strange behavior and sudden personality shift raise new concerns. The next morning brings more mysteries as Quinn's system detects a power source on academy grounds. That night, drawn by an inexplicable force, Quinn discovers ancient artifacts buried in the field, a pair of black-horned gauntlets that seem made for him, enhancing his blood manipulation abilities and granting him new strength. Quinn's newfound weapon is put to the test in combat class, where the blind instructor Leo introduces weapons training. Paired against Brandon, Quinn demonstrates the gauntlet's devastating power by shattering his opponent's spear and claiming victory. His impressive performance earns him a personal sparring match with Leo himself. Though the instructor proves to be on another level entirely, But some students can't accept Quinn's rising star. During another sparring session, Brandon and Faye orchestrate a dirty trick, using banned abilities to attack Quinn from behind, leaving him wounded and furious. Though his vampiric healing kicks in, it doesn't go unnoticed by the observant Leo. Seeking revenge, Quinn stalks Faye to the rooftop that night. In a brutal display of his growing powers, he attacks the bully and begins feeding on his blood. But his vengeance is interrupted by Luke, who witnesses the horrifying scene and raises the alarm, crying out about a monster in their midst. Now, with his secret on the verge of exposure, Quinn must face the consequences of letting his darker nature take control. The ensuing rooftop battle reveals Luke's bone manipulation powers, but Quinn's vampiric abilities prove stronger. Just as Quinn prepares to feed on a second victim, Layla arrives with news of approaching guards. Their dramatic escape from the roof showcases Layla's gravity manipulation powers, adding another layer to their complicated partnership. But darker events are unfolding across campus. Peter is forcibly recruited by Momo and his gang of second years for unknown purposes, while in the infirmary, Dr. Haley, the general's daughter, discovers suspicious bite marks on Luke's neck. Before she can investigate further, guards bring in Brandon's lifeless body, marking the first death on campus. The next morning brings a chain of revelations. A terrified Luke confronts Quinn, begging for his life and accusing him of Brandon's murder, a crime Quinn knows he didn't commit. Meanwhile, tensions explode in the cafeteria when Layla reveals that Vorden attacked her the previous night, exposing a disturbing truth about Quinn's friend. Vorden appears to be struggling with multiple personalities, including one that seems dangerously obsessed with Quinn. During combat class, Quinn discovers a mysterious training program for his gauntlets, learning new techniques like flash step and hammer strike. But his training is interrupted when military investigators question him about Brandon's death. Though he passes their truth detection test, the mystery of the killer remains unsolved. Next, in the assembly hall, Momo reveals his cruel plan. Using Vorden as target practice for beast-embedded stones, as first-year students are forced to participate, Quinn steps forward, leaving everyone to wonder, will he risk exposing his powers to save his friend? Now, trapped between protecting his secret and saving Vorden, Quinn faces his most dangerous choice yet. Who really killed Brandon? What's happening to Peter? And can Quinn stop Momo's sadistic game without revealing what he truly is? To know what happens next, follow our YouTube channel Pocket FM Animated Tales.